Okay, I figured we would try this again. The internet is so shitty, so bad. I can't win. Can never seem to win. It's like, oh yeah, you're running at 8 megabits a second up and down. I'm gonna try and do a live video, and then what does it do? As soon as I go live, it goes to like 1 or half of a 1, or maybe even a quarter of a 1 when it's super slow, and then it just drops me. Anyways, unimportant. We're gonna try it one more time. Okay, ask me anything, as long as the internet is live. Quick, go guys! You have very little time before we know, before the jungle breaks everything. God, frustrating. It's probably one of the most frustrating things about living in the jungle is the internet itself. It's the only downside. I really hope they get fiber optics or something out in the middle of nowhere here fast, because I love living in the middle of nowhere. That is great out here. Anyways, okay, so I was trying to explain that I thought the inverse Head and Shoulders could bring us as high as around $12,200 for a touch of the outer edge of the trend that we're currently in. My projections for this fourth wave are somewhere between 7,700 and 8,600. That's where I think we're going. We actually touched the $9,300 area, which was just below the other targets that we had. And then again, coming down here on this triangle, I think is another area that we're going to be looking at. So what I'm seeing here is this trend line forming here. I still think we might touch around 12,000 before coming back down to test that $8,600 area, and maybe once or twice more before we come down and touch the $7,700 area that we're interested in seeing. Okay, let's take a look at some of your guys' thoughts and questions. Live chat, there we go. Thoughts on Theta? So any of the other tokens that isn't Bitcoin, for any of you that are private bear members, you know how I feel about altcoins. I don't touch them unless you see an inverse trade and volume building. For instance, again, for the private bear den members, if you've been watching Matic, which I'm sure you have, once the volume comes in the reverse of Bitcoin, we see 30 to 40% gains over top of Bitcoin's maybe 10% loss. Those are the only trades I'm interested in making, and the only ones I've been touching in the background at all. It's the easiest way for me to go to play like that. So I can take a look at Theta as well, and I'll give you my thoughts on it in terms of where we're at in the charts. But other than that, I don't have any long-term belief in any token, other than the fact that I think the entire ecosystem is going to grow into the continual space where we can trade off the back of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has basically found itself as the new remittance layer. And because of that, it allows us to trade in and out of Bitcoin. And I like doing this because I don't want to be in a leveraged trade. It's very easy to get wrecked. Well, again, this is why you always only use you always use a stop loss. If you don't have a stop loss and you're trading, it's really, really difficult for you to be successful. Let's take a look at a few guys' thoughts and questions here again. What do you think of Revolt, the WireX, etc.? I like WireX. They were a great company. Their card was really cool. It's too bad it takes so long for them to. They still haven't gotten their cards to anyone. So that was the worst part about their models, that they still don't work. How do you trade with all the internet issues? Oh, the internet issues are really only bad for video. Video streaming requires a minimum 4 megabits a second up. Trading does not require that much data, not even remotely close. Video and audio are extremely heavy on bandwidth usage. That's a pretty fairly obvious question, I think. People long at 12, liquidated at 7. Yeah, I'm not in a long position for Bitcoin right now. I'm actually been trading in the background off of the back. Again, we saw Raven pull off another nice 10 to 15%. Again, for all the private bear den members, you know exactly why those are exciting to me. Let's see what Raven did. So seeing from the 15th to now, Raven's up 25%. So we're talking about 5 or 6 days to make a 25% return. Raven fell in the same category as Matic as well. So it's very important to watch that. Matic is dead unless we hold over or 180. Yeah, Rhonda, I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. Again, if you guys aren't part of the private bear den members, I highly suggest you try signing up. It's only $30 a month, and right now we've got the discount on for another few days where you type bear den 33 and you actually get the grandfather price It's worth a hell of a lot more than the $20 or the $30 it costs per month. But yeah, I don't hold on to anything. I don't hodl anything. I think that's the worst idea ever. I enter a trade and I either take a stop loss at a small percentage loss, or I take a win at a profit. That's the whole point of this game. I don't care what Matic does in the long term at all, but it's given us 60% returns 2 or 3 times in the last month. So it would be arrogant to not play in those waters, especially because they're not leverage trades. They're a hell of a lot safer. John Nierota says, I have a buy set. If we go back to around 10,400, make a quick gain, immediately set up a stop loss. 10,400 is, again, I think we might hit 12K, but only on the short term. I still believe we're in a fourth wave, and go from there. Rhonda says, Raven may be up, but not bullish. I've learned a lot. Not buying Matic unless it goes and holds 180. Yeah, I don't really care where the price is at in terms of right now. Like this idea, okay, so I'm gonna use Rhonda's example here. I'm just not saying buying Matic until it goes back and holds 180. Let's look at Matic for an example. I don't care where it's at in its price range. I care about the gains that it makes off Bitcoin's back. So the other day on the 10th, same time as Bitcoin Raven's movement, we saw a 30% gain off the bottom. And there are very, very clear indicators that we saw that were giving us that bottom. So for instance, I'll turn this around here. We have a rising RSI and a falling price. And then right above that, here, this is the 30% gain from here to here, right? So what I'm interested in is now that it's flatlined and the bear claw is moving up, there's probably an interest for another 15 to 30% spike here. It doesn't need to go to 180 for me to care about it at all. It just needs to, I just need to see the volume come in. See, the volume is really low right now. It's actually looking quite tasty. But you put a stop loss in like right here. I'm going to put a stop loss in here right at 127-ish, enter at 128, 129, and then watch it go up. And if it doesn't and hits 127 and it closes my position, I don't care. It's done quite well for us. It's done quite well for us the last few weeks because of this type of trading mentality. Again, it doesn't, wherever it is in price is totally unimportant to me as well. Cool, nice. I disagree, Rhonda. None of those things make any difference to me because I'm not on a hodl position. I'm not trying to hold anything for the long term. So I'm not looking for a long-term entry in tokens like Matic or Raven right now. I'm just looking for the quick swing trades that take place off of the back of Bitcoin as it descends in price and volume. And we've seen that consistently and throughout the market. Again, I suggest signing up to the private Bear Den. Remember, there's a very well-developed thesis that's been able to prove itself time and time and now time again. I don't try to argue stuff that works. I just use it while it works, and as soon as it stops working, I move on and I build a new thesis. These markets are developing very quickly, and we don't know how they play out yet. I've said this a few times before already, but the idea of a 24/7, 365 a day a week market has never existed in the last, well, forever as far as we know. Maybe 20,000 years ago we had one. But the point of this is paying attention to how these markets develop, I think, is extremely important because we have likely decades ahead of us now of the development of these types of markets taking place. So learning how that works, why it works, I think is extremely important. Nice. One of you guys asked, where do I live? This is I live on the southern tip of Costa Rica. We got our little solar panel down there. We got our little greenhouse and our guest cabin. It's a really beautiful spot. Look, I got I haven't made the bed yet. Come on, Tio, get your shit together. But I got a jacuzzi in the bedroom as well. This is like my little yoga area or whatever you want to call it. I love living in Costa Rica, aside from the shitty internet. Once we fix that, we've got broadband here, which is likely over the next few, sorry, not broadband, fiber. It'll be a fantastic place to live in terms of internet. But right now the speed is just no fun. Alt season is starting with Ethereum and Litecoin looking good. Yeah, alt season I'm waiting for a bit still, mostly because I think Bitcoin's price, once it hits this $7,700 to $8,600 area, is going to come rocketing back up. I believe this is a fourth wave, which means fifth wave could take us anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000. And I'm not going to be touching any alt while that happens, not even close. But on the turnaround of that, very, very possible, yeah. LTC does not tell the future. Again, we don't have enough data for that. There's no data in that system. Anyone thinks that LTC has led the course is incorrect. They're not looking at the Litecoin to Bitcoin charts. And again, I don't care what volume Litecoin is in US dollars. The important part for me here is that I'm looking at the long-term data of Litecoin. So let's take Litecoin here for an example, and let's go out to the weekly chart so I can show here. So see, this is the weekly chart on Litecoin. We have multiple years of data here where it has never led. All these spikes have returned back down to the bottom, always. And we actually see a descending top price, right? This is for the first time we actually see our lows getting higher here. But we also see that we've actually been descending in our tops here. I mean, you could consider that this might be a type of pennant, but either way, this declining price in Litecoin versus Bitcoin over the entire lifespan of Litecoin has no reason why to think it would lead the market by indicators in terms of its halving whatsoever. I think it'll be interesting to watch the halving, and that will be a large indicator. Again, my concern here is only in Bitcoin price, not in US dollar price. So if we look at, here was the previous entry targets we had before. I should actually delete that because we all sold at around 17,000 Satoshis for Litecoin. So this is no longer our entry target. But this movement up and down against Bitcoin's price here, this is much more difficult than just charting on the screen. This up and down price movement here, this is if you didn't sell at the top, you've lost 53% of your price in terms of Bitcoin. And from its low, you're only up 25%. I mean, we make that in Matic and Raven in a half of a day if you're looking closely. So again, if you roll into a smaller time frame, let's say the 45-minute with Litecoin here, just to prove this example a little further, we see what I would consider a nice bull flag. And this bull flag was a nice little 14% gain versus Bitcoin's drop price. Again, the importance here is that I don't care long-term hodl prices. The investment world needs to mature a little bit more before we get further down that path. Although let's look back and take a look at some of your questions. 20,000 XRP. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm assuming you mean, I don't even know what that means. XRP could be a good speculative bet, but I would never touch it and hold it for more than a few days at a time. I want very limited asset exposure to any of these while Bitcoin is moving. The exact same thing as 2017. Nothing has changed since 2017. Yeah, Rhonda, though, I don't care what Litecoin is in US dollar terms if you've lost almost all of your gains in Bitcoin. That's just antithetical to the entire point of being in a decentralized marketplace. Bitcoin is the new money here, not the US dollar. So I would suggest I would suggest going to talk your own nonsense somewhere else. Because it just doesn't logically fit. Like if you've lost all of your value in Bitcoin, then why would you hold Litecoin? Just because it's up in US dollar terms, these new money markets are going to be priced in Bitcoin and Satoshis over the next few years. I've mentioned this, that I believe this many times. I think Bitcoin's going to millions of dollars. I'm not willing to risk the loss of a Bitcoin price just because my Litecoin went up in US dollar terms. This is very antithetical to our entire thesis. I want to hold BTC. In opinion, what would be a low approximate price? Some people say it'll be 1K. Very interesting. Yeah, Bitcoin could still go down to $1,500 from here, although the probability of that has been decreased quite dramatically. I think most people here, the best thing to do is just to buy a little every week. That way you're not reliant upon the best price entry, and instead of just waiting and possibly missing out, you learn how to you buy some, you educate yourself, and you own it for the time being instead of potentially missing out. At least dip your toes in the water. If you don't own any, at least buy $100. Like even my little brother right now has been buying $100 in Bitcoin for the last year. He's killing it. He's like, or like every week or something, or every paycheck, once every month, because at least you learn that way instead of being too reliant upon technical investment. Like my first Bitcoins, I bought at $90 and $1,000. I bought right at the top when it was at $1,000. I watched it come all the way down to 200, and that is when I started studying technical analysis. I learned how to trade in the stock markets, how to do puts, options, calls, invest, diversified portfolio from land and gold and silver and Bitcoin. Anyways, the point of this is, it took me many years to realize that I bought at the top. Oh shit. How do I learn how to not do that and actually be able to sell at the top next time? And that's what we did a fairly decent job of doing last year. For any of you that were following us in the mid of March 2018, we exited all of our positions in the altcoin space. Like, this is going to get bad. We're gone. We're out of here. We're just holding Bitcoin until we see something better take place. Because again, my goal here is to just acquire more Bitcoin. I don't give a shit what type of price it is in US dollars. It really is unimportant to me. My goal in this space is just more Bitcoin. The question should also be, oh, how much money do you need to retire? No. How many Bitcoin do you think you'll need to retire? Let's see. Do you have an experience with core number trading, Bear? I don't know what core number trading is. And Kevin Smith, number of things. You'd have to say what core number trading is. I don't know what you mean by this specifically. Kevin Smith says long-term view for DigiByte. Okay, DigiByte is actually one of the tokens that we wrote about in our very first, our second Bear Den thesis. I think it is a really, really undervalued asset, is what I call a baby Bitcoin in short. If we actually look at DigiByte's long-term price movement, again, versus Bitcoin's price only, not in US dollars, I only care about DigiByte to Bitcoin. On the weekly chart, I'm just opening up now, we actually see a long-term history of explosive growth of DigiByte's price versus Bitcoin's price itself. So I think what's important here is, again, the same way we looked at it with Litecoin was to understand that there already a little bit of history, or at least recent past, with these price movements to begin with. So DigiByte has actually shown us in its recent history some very, very large high points. We're talking thousands of percent over top of Bitcoin's price movement, depending on where we were in the market at any given moment. And I think DigiByte will actually still offer this in the long term. So there are tokens that I do, well, I'll actually use the word hodl. There are tokens that I've accumulated that I consider to be undervalued, that I don't care what price they're at today in Bitcoin's price, because I have a longer outlook for them. Whereas if I'm swing trading, I'm trying to be in and out of a token within a week. I'll wait weeks, maybe even a month, to watch a price point develop. And from there, once it does, I'll get in and out of the market as quickly as humanly possible. God damn, my internet is so bad today. This is extraordinary. So I guess I won't chart DigiByte right now because I can't even open the chart. This is just sick. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here's what the private Bear Den members have been looking at. We've actually started to hit some of our original entry targets now that we're down near 100 Satoshis. The previous spikes in DigiByte here, I'm just so you can see. This spike here, 3,000, 4,000, 6,000% in Bitcoin's price. And some of our other ones here, we see December 2017, 900%. Even from this lower target here, 140%. So I think DigiByte still has that explosive growth. Where it comes in the market is probably quite a bit delayed. It is a baby Bitcoin. It is the same as Litecoin. It's the same as a few other tokens as well. Let's imagine it like you've got like 10 Ferraris, and Bitcoin was the first Ferrari. So number 1 out of 10 is always going to be worth more. Let's just from a collector's item standpoint, not even from any other perspective. Number 1 is always worth a little bit more in the collector's realm of things. And this is what digital scarcity kind of represents, is collector's items. You own this number of Bitcoin, 1 of 21 million. That's not a whole lot. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to recognize DigiByte actually sits in that same category too. And because of that, it does fit into my long-term diversified portfolio. But again, that's in a very small percentage. Maybe my diversified portfolio is 10% outside of Bitcoin. So we'll go from there. Hey, Arcane Bear, what do you think about holding BTC through ETN, the tax differences for me? I don't know what you mean by holding BTC through ETN. I don't know how that works. Let's go from there. Yeah, I don't really like entering or exiting Bitcoin. It's not my favorite thing to do. I only trade off the back of it in very short term. I almost never tether up unless I see a long-term downtrend coming. I'm not convinced that we've seen a long-term downtrend. If we break 7,700, yeah, we could come back down to $1,500 quite easily. There's not a whole lot holding us up after 7,700, other than 55, 44, and then all the way down to 1,500. So again, there's still lower end probabilities, but I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be trading off the back of those and aiming only to acquire more Bitcoin. Again, regardless of what the US dollar price is, I try to ignore that. Um, I like Kirk's sentiment here. This is pretty funny. He says, I tried offering my friends Bitcoin for free to get them interested in trading, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm now currently looking for new friends. Well, that should be fairly easy to find new friends in this space by saying I'm going to offer to give you free Bitcoin. I would suggest going to your Twitter and giving away $200 to get followers. That's probably what the Arcane Bear should do as well. Um, yeah, again, I don't hold XRP in any way, currency revolution, so I can't tell you. None of this is investment advice, but I don't hold XRP as part of my speculative long-term portfolio. They are all only baby Bitcoins. Again, if you're interested in that, you can check out our private bear den by going to arcanebear.com/club and signing up. If you use bear den 33 and enter that coupon code, we are offering a 30% discount, which is basically grandfathers you into our original prices. So leave it there. Are you a still bear or hanging onto your name to bull anytime soon? If so, what price? I see, Rhonda. Here's the funny thing: the bears have always been the more intelligent animals in the markets. They're the ones who have actually made it through multiple winters. Bulls are not the case. Those people usually get wiped out in markets every 7 to 10 years. So no, I'll always be a bear. Where will I change my sentiments? Well, somewhere around $24,000. I'll be like, oh, we're actually in a bull market. But until then, no, we could just be in a really awkward B wave and come back down to $3,000. And why would you want to be bullish when we're still potentially in a bear market? Especially because here, like let's use Bitcoin in the previous history for example. I started to buy more Bitcoin again around $400 to $600 because I saw we were going up to break past the all-time high, and I was aiming at around $3,000 to $6,000 as our high at that point. Once we broke $3,000, I changed my sentiments to around $10,000 to $20,000. So the important part here is that I'm actually a bear all the way until we break multiple levels. So around $3,000 the breakout, that's when I became bullish. I was like, oh yeah, we're in retail speculation. We're all crazy. This is going much higher. But yeah, the bears are the smarter animals. They're the ones who make it through every season. It's smart to remember that. I've been focused on Bitcoin to USDT only. Too complicated following lots of alts I used to. Yeah, I don't. Also, let's play this here as well. I don't actually trade lots. I follow one. I actually have like a group in the private Bear Den members. I have a group of a few that I've picked out, and I'll pick one. And I'll watch one for that week and look for entries and exits, and that's about it. It's way too confusing to try to follow multiple charts and all the hype and all this news. It's just bullshit. It's just crap noise. It's not even close to signal. Nathaniel, I'm by the way, thank you guys all for joining us today. Give us those thumbs up if you like this content. I'm having a fantastic time doing the live streams with you guys. It had been a while since we had done this, so I'm super excited. Look, I just want to show you the jungle again. Look how beautiful it is out here. Look, you see how beautiful the jungle is right now? It's just such a delicious thing. So Nathaniel says, I set up friends with the wallets and gave them a little. I advertised on Craigslist for teaching. Well, that's great. Whatever you guys can do to help other people educate themselves, that's smart. It's a good way to go. That's why we started the Arcane Bears. We wanted, well, first off, I love shit talking. That's the real reason, is I wanted somewhere where I could talk for endless amounts of time and have people actually want to listen. Core number trading, hold 2B's core number, just Bitcoin post so price. Yeah. I don't trade like this. Again, my goal is to have more Bitcoin, not more US dollars. If I want more US dollars, I'll build a business. For example, currently I'm working on a business with my little brother in the SEO world, and it's quite easy to do 10x in the SEO world every time. So if you invest $8,000, you can get $80,000 back about a year later. So we started that about a year ago, and we'll probably be flipping a site here for around 80,000 in the next few months. And we're going to use that just to continue to build the bear, actually. But my goal is to teach him how to do the work, because I don't have time to build sites and flip them anymore. So again, if I want US dollars, there's a hell of a lot easier way to go 10x on your money than Bitcoin and trading. I like trading because I want more Bitcoin, and it's the easiest way to keep the Bitcoin in the system without having to go to US dollars and have an oddly taxable event. Everyone's tax laws are different too. So please remember that you have to check with your accountants first. You have to know what games you're playing. Let's see. Thoughts on the death cross? I don't know what death cross you're talking about. I could open up the computer here and take a look. I don't know what. Some terminology people will just use as a blanket terminology. There may not even be any real reference point to it. So I try to ignore things like the death cross because sometimes people will just make it up. Oh, there we go. You don't want to see the other side of the. Okay, there we go. Specifically, you'd have to tell me what you think the death cross is for me to be able to capitalize on and share my thoughts on that process with you. But yeah, we could go. I mean, we could go lower for sure. 6,200. Again, after a break after 7,700 though is going to be a massive downtrend in my mind. I can see the Tina Mastes Ridge. You were correct. You can. It's over there. Good eye. Where do you live and why? I live in the jungles of Costa Rica because I absolutely love nature. You can't see her right now, but there's a sloth that lives in my tree. She comes back every rainy season. She lives over there. She's just super sweet. She's come back with babies. That's why I live in the jungle. I love stuff like that. I very much so love nature and animals. Kristen says, you have great internet for being in the jungle. It's actually been fairly smooth since we restarted this live stream, so I'm excited for that. Death crosses a bear's trap terminology. Yeah, this is not. It's all about which EMAs are crossing. If BTC ends daily on 10-3 in the range, it will get a death cross. Yeah, again, see, none of that is actually reminiscent of what a real death cross should be. A death cross should be the crossing of your. Let's see, which moving averages was it? What is a death cross? I believe it's 2 of your simple moving averages. The death cross appears in the chart when a stock short-term moving averages crosses below its long-term moving average. Typically used in this pattern are the 50 and 200-day moving averages. Okay, so let's open up the daily charts and make sure we have this correct, because otherwise we're just making shit up, and that's not smart. When we can actually just find out. So we want to cross the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So I right now am creating an input for the 50 simple moving average, and then we will double up and we will create a second one for an indicator here for simple moving average. And then let's add the 200-day moving average. So we want to see a cross of the 50 and the 200 on the daily. That's specifically what the death cross is. Anyone who says it's a price target is not paying attention to, well, history. So no, we have nowhere. Oh, that's on the weekly chart right now. I can't look at the weekly chart. Yeah, we're not anywhere remotely close to a death cross in terms of the daily. Yeah, it's not. We have our 200 and 314 days that just crossed upwards on the daily. Again, none of these are looking like a death cross to me. I'm very confused on why people would say something that has no relevance to the reality of what these things are called. See, if you go to Investopedia, which is a fantastic source of information, the death cross is a technical chart pattern indicating the potential of a major sell-off. The death cross appears on a chart when the stock's short-term moving average crosses below its long-term moving average. Typically, the most common moving averages used in these patterns are the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages. So I do not see that at all on the charts right now, but I do have a really shitty internet that's loading extremely slow, so I'm not even sure. Let's actually make these settings huge. Length of the 200 moving day. Oh yeah, there we go. We've got the 200 day on there already. Let's jack it up so it's all super big and noticeable. Yeah, we just crossed upwards on the 200-day moving average. So where's the 50? I have to open up the 50 now. Okay, I'm trying to learn this as we go here because I didn't have it on my charts for you guys. So, but I do want to show you what a death cross is supposed to look like. Okay. Oh yeah, we're not even remotely close to a death cross yet. A death cross would be us breaking price below $6,000 essentially. So there's no death cross on the daily until $6,000. So I don't know who's sharing that information, but it doesn't make any sense as far as I can tell. BTC and 7,000s would see mega retail buying. Again, so the breakdown below 7,700, 7,600 is not a good sign for me. Would potentially be exiting, although we'll wait till we get to that point to decide so. Congratulations, Johnny says he just finished his web development certificate. Good on you for going through and learning some new stuff. How do you have internet in the jungle? Actually, that's kind of a fun question. I can show you. Let's go downstairs. Okay. Let's see if I can show you guys this. I have two connections to the internet. Can we see them yet? They're gonna be behind me. Oh yeah, there they are. Okay, right behind my head, bang! And then a little bit further, see there's that one over here. There's two satellites, bang, bang. They both point way off into the distance, and we have what's known as point-to-point internet, which is often quite good, but even the clouds can disrupt the data stream because it has to send the data through water particles and nonsense like this. So as you can see, it is kind of cloudy where I get my data from at the particular moment. So that's how we get internet out here. It's point-to-point satellites, which is actually normally very, very effective, but in the rainy season, it's harder and harder to keep up with. Okay, so that was my guess on the death cross. I don't know why people would say it's anything other than what it is. Again, look, I say all sorts of dumb shit, so I'm not saying anyone's it's humans do dumb things all the time. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, live chat. I'm loving this. Thank you guys all for joining us again. I haven't done a live stream where it's gone smoothly in quite some time. I'm super stoked about that. I'm having a great time with you guys. I'm very, very grateful. Okay, so let's take a look at more of these questions. Okay, Kevin Smith again with another super chat. Thank you for the $2. You say thoughts on Mnuchin bad mouthing Bitcoin. Again, a lot of this I consider noise. I consider the news cycle mostly noise and has very little relationship to actual price indications. They're lagging indicators to have someone speak and then the price change. The price is going to be going down regardless of any of the sentiments that were taking place in the as soon as we came down from 13,000 and couldn't break up again, we were coming down regardless of what shit they started talking. So I try to remove all of that. That's noise. That's not signal. Signal to me is much more important than the noise around the signal. From the signal, we can actually come up with an understanding of where we're going. Again, I think it's kind of difficult to understand because news seems relevant. People can always come up with like, oh, this is the reason why Bitcoin sold off. It's like, no. No, there's no news. It's actually the opposite way. It's a technical indicator that normally creates that, and the news is subsequent, and people just connect the two most often. If I would suggest reading the book "Fooled by Randomness" by Nassim Taleb. It goes over news being noise quite in depth in the last chapter of their book. Let's take a look at a few more of the questions. Michael Adams says the 50 and 200 on a 3-day is showing Golden Cross on the 30th of July. Okay, so maybe there is a Golden Cross on the 3-day. I'll take a look. My laptop's about to die. So what we'll do is we'll chart tomorrow when we actually have the computer open. For now, I can't. I don't want to use the computer too much to chart because it's well, the internet is shitty. I'm surprised it's even working just for the phone as is. So we'll leave it working with the phone as is. Don't want to break it. Okay, let's take a look at some more of your guys' thoughts and questions. A 4-hour death cross, is that what you're asking? Okay, let me go over the death cross stuff tomorrow. So what we'll do is we'll go live again tomorrow. I'll go from the computer, and then that way we can look at multiple time frames and this death cross that everyone's interested in. From there, it'll be much easier. Currently, the laptop and me trying to do this, it's like not even very effective. You guys can all do this, but okay. First off, go to TradingView.com. If you have not signed up for TradingView, it's a great platform, free to use. You can educate yourself just by watching things develop there, and you can play around. If you haven't, you can follow us by typing in Arcane Bear in the people. We do produce charts there as well and share some of our more intermediate thoughts. Our private Bear Den members get the private links, but we do post public stuff. You can also download all of our scripts from there as well, and use those for free too. Kinu Chu Chun says, are you familiar with the golden ratio indicator for Bitcoin? Basically 350-day moving average multiplied by fib levels. It's really interesting, in my opinion, only works on the daily chart. I haven't seen that. Again, there are countless ways to watch a market unfold. It depends on where it is in the market you're interested in finding sentiments. It's very difficult. Everyone comes up with something that's hopefully valuable to them. But I'll take a look. I'll try to take a look on that one. I heard the death cross from other YouTubers. Yeah, death cross specifically is the 50/200, generally on the daily. That's the death cross. On the 4-hour, I don't know. I guess because Bitcoin moves so quickly, we could maybe assume that moving down to a smaller time frame might be beneficial to understanding maybe larger market moves. I've been saying for the last 2 weeks, I think we're going down to 7,000 and then potentially up to 50,000. If we break that $7,000 line though and we go further, there's not a whole lot holding us back up. And again, we've seen that this has been a fairly unhealthy market growth to begin with. So we'll keep an eye on that. What EMA do you use on TradingView? I can't find the right one. I use the bear claw for my exponential moving averages, which are different than your simple moving averages. The EMAs that we use on the bear claw are all stacked. So if you go to Arcane Bear in TradingView, you can download the script and you can look at all the sides. It's like the 5, the 10, the 15, the 25, the 30, all the way up to the 100, I believe. And then we use the 200 and the 314 simple moving average as the outer edge of the bear claw. How often do you go to the city? Maybe once a month. I'll drive out to the city if I need something, like if I need new pants or socks. I don't know, pretty random. What trading strategy do you use? I'm new to trading, technical analysis. I do mostly swing trading. I'll wait weeks to months sometimes for a swing trade to unfold. Anyone who followed us with Raven almost twice now know what that looks and feels like. You can be waiting for 3 months for a move to take place and then all of a sudden have a 600% gain. So I'm there. That's the easiest way for me to play. I like the wait and patience play. Whiskey says, hey, a new bear sub from the UK since early 2017. Impressed with your insight and perspective. You think Link and Icon are still worth holding onto with BTC run imminent? Again, I try not to hold anything in a diversified portfolio unless they're part of my first thesis. Again, for the private Bear Den members, you'll know all the tokens I'm talking about. But other than that, out of that thesis, I don't hold anything. Just because they don't fit my particular interest in long-term investments. Although they could very well represent a huge potential in speculative swing trading. Raw Power says, how old are you? I am 32 years old. I actually turned 32. I turned 32 in March. I think, right? I'm getting older when I can't remember exactly how old I am. I almost said I turned 33, but that's not true at all. Turned 32 this year in March. It was a fantastic time. Had a great birthday. Had some friends come over. It was really, really nice. I'm gonna put the laptop inside now that it's dead. Maybe we'll even sit out in the grass with you guys. No need to be. Okay. Let's do. Okay. Any thoughts on Cloak's new direction, Cloak X turning their platform into a decentralized exchange? We see Energy doing something very similar to this as well, opening up their own decentralized exchange. Again, I think the importance of privacy is massively underrated in today's group. I think that we're going to see a lot of really powerful privacy coins. I've been trying to get some of the people that have developed Mimblewimble on the line. I've been doing some consulting and contracting work for a company that I believe was going to do quite well. Again, they're using the Mimblewimble technology. Again, I think there's a huge gap in the privacy sector of finance, especially for it's hard when you let's go sit by the ayahuasca, everybody. I think we'll still get fast internet. If the internet goes slower, it's because we're too close to the ayahuasca. That's what it is. We're gonna sit here, sit in the jungle shade. Okay, there we go. This is all ayahuasca behind me now. We'll feel closer to nature for a minute. So I think that the decentralized exchange also offer the privacy side of things. And I think we're going to see a huge resurgence of that over the next year or two as governments start to realize that they're losing their power. Nice. The Kirk throws us $3 for a super chat and says, thank you for your thoughts. I love sharing. Again, thank you guys all for joining us on this beautiful Sunday morning in the jungle. The Tiho Ask Me Anything. I love that. No Name says, how's your beverage business going? It's going great. This is the slow time of year, so we don't. It's our biggest numbers all happen between January and March, and again, all of that just goes back into the business. So basically, this year we acquired our product barcode, which costs a few $1,000s, and you have to go through all the registration process with the local municipalities and all your health registrations and all your nutritional testing. So that cost us a fair chunk of cash. That's where most of the extra profits from the company went this year. The rest of it just goes back into it. We had to print out new labels now with all of that testing and all the barcode stuff. So it's going great. I just kind of let the managers run with it and let them do their thing because I trust them. It's a lot easier for me to not really worried about it right now. Cool. Let's take a look. Waiting is the name of the game. Patience is hugely valuable. Thoughts on LibraCoin? You know, I'm one of the few that actually thinks Facebook did something kind of special there. When they brought on Kiva, for those of you that don't know who or what Kiva is this fantastic platform that does crowdfunding for individuals in third world countries where they can take loans out to go to school or to build a business through microfinancing. And Kiva is one of these great ways to get money to people in third world countries without having huge abstraction or cost fees. So the fact that Facebook realizes that there's a huge remittance problem in companies like, let's see, Western Union or any of these others, it means that they know to some degree how powerful this technology is without understanding the importance of the concept of the technology. So even though Libra is in no way a Bitcoin, was really interesting to see that they were focused on providing cross-border settlements with no fees for companies like Kiva and all these other charitable foundations. That actually gave me hope, and for me, I was like, okay, I actually respect you a little bit more for that one, Facebook, because it's important to understand why and for who this technology is so valuable. And it's actually the underserved and the underprivileged people that should be profiting from this stuff the most. Kyle says, do you live in Costa Rica as an investment to save money or because you're just a fungal guy and love the tropics? A frugal guy. It's actually not cheaper to live in Costa Rica for the most part, depending on how you live. Vehicles are very expensive here. The taxes on the vehicles are very expensive. The insurance is not cheap. It's not cheap to live here, so it's not about being frugal. I live in the jungle because I can grow ayahuasca. I've got coca growing over there. I've got a bunch of sacred plants that grow on this property, and I barely have to do anything other than just let them grow. We've got peyote. We've got a few other psychedelics like Mimosa hostilis that grow readily on the property as well. Let's take a look here. See some more questions you guys have. Skyline is a fool. I guess he doesn't know how to understand the importance of strategy. That's fine. Here, look. Anyone who doesn't understand strategy, I really feel sorry for you. You sound like a child if you don't understand the importance of risk assessment and diversified understanding. It really, really makes a lot of sense. Time to Thrive says, no combo yet, Tio. I've clocked up 15 sessions now. You're right. I'm behind on the combo. I've been a little bit of I've been too much of a busybody. FOMO spans, I get it. It's a long lag time. Yeah, I do try to get to the questions. It's just there's a bunch of them, and I'm trying to freestyle. Some questions get a longer rant by me. 32 years old, only in the Silicon Valley. Oh God, wait for 49. I would love to make it to 49. Hopefully I do. Can you show us around? Yeah, okay. Let's do that. So this is the house. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can see the house. So this is the house, 2 stories. It's 1,400 square feet. We've got this little area over here, which is like where the ayahuasca is. These are all pineapples that we've planted on the front of the property to go around. I've got cotton going over there. There's 150 different fruit trees we've planted all around the property. So as you can see, like we've got, look at you can kind of see that that's a bear face. But there's a bunch of fruit trees from cacao and avocado, lemon dulce, jocote, moringa, all these different types of plant medicines. We've even got agave there. We're gonna make a didgeridoo out of this beautiful agave string right here. This is teak above us as well. So a lot of the property, like inside the kitchen, all of that was finished from wood on the property. So my entire kitchen is made out of teak that we cut down on the property and dried. So for 2.5 years, I had no kitchen. But yeah, all this is all teak. Aside from the centerpiece is actually Guanacaste, but all this stuff is teak. All this is teak up here and here as well. So when we first bought the property, it was raw land. Teak is an invasive species in the jungle. Its leaves are really acidic, so they're bad for the ground as well. So we cut down most of the teak, aside from this big monster and one or two other monsters on the edge of the property. So we use it like that. You can see well, I don't want to go too far away from the house because this is where the internet is, but we built this road on the way up here. We leveled out the ground where the greenhouse is. If we go around this way, this is like the entrance. So upstairs is all outside. And basically we've just cut the rest of the teak we're going to use to finish the outside part of the house here as well, hopefully in the next few months. We've got a bunch of beautiful flowers, like these little things. This is all turmeric. We've got ginger planted everywhere as well. I planted some pine trees to remind me of my home where I grew up in Canada. So that was a quick little tour. There's a bunch of medicinal plants on the property too. Let's see. Eat some of those plants on the stream. Well, I could eat an ayahuasca leaf, but it wouldn't do anything. It's actually the vine. So if you come through here, for any of you that ever have seen the ayahuasca vine, there she is. Look at this beautiful twist that she's been building for us. And that's not even the thick part of it. Like, look up there. Look how thick that ayahuasca vine is. She's just got some strong life in her here. Anyways, total side note. Okay, show us your homegrown, please. That was my homegrown right there. I have friends that grow ayahuasca and do Kambo ceremonies in Thailand and would love to introduce you and show you some special places next time. We will be coming out to Thailand to continue business, probably closer to September. Do you play online poker? No, I do not. Can you grow coffee? It's not cold enough to grow coffee out here. You need to be a little higher. Coffee likes cooler, higher altitude climates, generally around at least 1,500 feet. I'm only at 980 feet, so we're lower than that, obviously. Dream life. When is the invite in audience day? That's a great question. We're actually looking at hopefully doing over the next few years, like a bear get together, maybe in Bali or maybe even in Costa Rica. But I will be speaking at Anarchapulco this year and doing some workshops there. So if you guys want to come hang out with the bear, Anarchapulco is probably the best bet. There's also some conferences in Asia we'll be speaking at too, but those aren't like totally locked in yet, so we'll save it for there. Biggest tip for people who want to live and grow their own food. Be ridiculously relentless, because it's not easy. Living out in the jungle is not easy. Everyone's like, oh, you live in paradise. I'm like, it's really hard living out here some days. That's for sure. It's a lot of work. Are you selling the house when you move to OZ? No, not selling the house. This is a permanent part of my portfolio, because the pineapples, this is like grounding for me. To have pineapples that I planted years ago, to come see them grow every year, or the ayahuasca, that's worth more to me than money ever will be. I actually had people offer to buy the house in Bitcoin was at around $900. This house would have been worth like $5 or $6 million bucks. And it's odd. Most of you aren't going to believe me when I say this, but I don't really care. I really don't care. I'm actually always in a battle between, I could just be sitting in the grass and playing music and enjoying myself. The reason I want to do this is because I think it's important. I do this because I believe it's important for the development of the human species to start to communicate and grow and build together with new business models. That's why I'm not just chilling in the jungle doing nothing. Meet the Hooker says, meet the hookers? What? Says very. Again, I'm not in any other alt token for any period of time aside from what's in the private bear den. Again, if any of you are interested in my private bear den thesis, hugely discounted price in terms of the value we provide. $30 a month is nothing. We could probably be charging thousands, and have. I mean, it'd be probably better to have 5 people that sign up for like $1,500 each. A hell of a lot less nonsense. But I actually want everyone to be able to receive the information. So the cheaper price point is there, so that everyone can access it. And I hope for the longer term too. I hope that you guys are all invested in learning in the space for the next few years. Because again, remember, I bought Bitcoin at 1,000 at the all-time high then, had to watch it come back down to the bottom. And through those 2 to 3 years, I really spent a lot of time studying and learning how the markets worked. That way I knew how to enter and exit next time. And it was a lot more successful these years. Any wildlife? Yeah, there's a sloth that lives in that tree right there all the time. She comes back every rainy season. She's come back with babies and stuff too. So she sometimes she'll bring her partner. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. She's probably hooking up with different guys. She's a pretty cute sloth, I figure. Sydney, you just don't fly, you savage Sydney sloth. They're just throwing down. Come back pregnant twice now. We also have wild boar, wild deer, like pygmy things that look like, well, pygmies are an African tribe. That's not the right word. The fuck, guinea pig. Jesus Christ, Theo, you sound like an asshole. There's jaguars in this jungle too. I've heard them, and I've seen the paw of one come out the road while I was driving. Big fucking cats. I literally live in the middle of the jungle. You're like, oh, how far away from civilization? It's like, no, guys, look. Do you see a house? Do you see any houses out there? None. None. There's like one. Hold on. There's like one over there, and one over there, and one over there. You could see all the houses, and they're like hundreds of acres away from me. Pretty crazy. Okay, more questions. You're a good shepherd of the world, bro. Some days I can be quite an asshole. I'm very strict about the things I believe in. What type of ayahuasca? There's only one type of ayahuasca. This is the oh shit. What's the actual Latin name? Banisteriopsis. This is the Banisteriopsis vine. The drink ayahuasca has multiple plants in it. So unless you're referring to the drink, but this is the ayahuasca vine. This is the this is the Banisteriopsis vine. This is the monoamino oxidase inhibitor that makes you purge and allows you to actually ingest the DMT. We have the DMT, dimethyltryptamine containing plant down at the bottom, and a few others that I've actually planted. I probably have around 6 or 7 of them now that grow here. But they're all what's known as Mimosa hostilis. That's a much different plant. What's your astrological sign? I am a Pisces with a Leo moon and a Virgo rising. At least that's what the charts and my birth time have to say. So and I think the Leo moon is noticeable. When I get super passionate, I'm like, oh, I'm fiery about everything I believe in. Oh my God. Okay. No, Rhonda, the DMT source is not the name of the ayahuasca. The DMT source is usually Mimosa hostilis, or generally in the Peruvian tribes, they use the charcuna, which is a different type of root bark. So it depends on which ayahuasca brew you're talking about. So the brews are different, but this is the ayahuasca vine. This is the Banisteriopsis vine. Ayahuasca, the drink itself, has multiple plants. It'll sometimes have it'll have tobacco in it. It'll have datura, also known as deadly nightshade, or Reina de la Noche is another name for her. She's a crazy fucking bitch. Don't ever take datura by yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, but they do use small amounts of it in the ayahuasca brew, depending on what culture you're chatting with. Do the jaguars make howling sounds? No, they make they sound like a tank animal, a tank cat. If you can imagine a tank and a cat put together, that's what it sounds like. I also live in the middle of the jungle alone, so when you hear a tank cat make a noise, it might be like a little more scary than it actually is if they were in a zoo. So when you hear an animal like that in the wild, it's significantly more noticeable than when you're like, oh, they're in the zoo, like rawr, rawr, look at that lion, rawr, and they're like, hear him in the jungle, you're like, holy fuck, that's a tank cat. I hear a tank in the jungle. Anyways, what do you think of Libra? I went over Libra already. Very interesting use cases for what they're aiming at, but is not a cryptocurrency in terms of like what Bitcoin is. Is that all legal here? Cannabis is actually now legal to grow in the jungle here for Costa Ricans. Costa Rica is a very progressive country. We banned all plastic straws last year. We banned all styrofoam this year. We run 100% off renewable resources in the jungle, and we have no fucking military. This is one of the most progressive countries you can live in, and you can now grow marijuana here legally. And also, yes, ayahuasca, coca, those are all legal plants here as well. Do you grow P. vidris? I don't know what P. vidris is, so no, I do not. So I can't say that again. Who's that behind you? Ayahuasca? You mean the sweet mother Pachamama vine right here? The sweet little lady that's trying to. Don't just eat ayahuasca. It's not, it won't do anything. What do you think of Fatcom? Nothing at the particular moment. I don't have my charts open, as you can see. We're just on a cell phone right now. So this is more of an Ask Me Anything rant session for the Sunday days. This is way more interesting than crypto. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate hearing that. We will try to do Ask Me Anythings more often. I had a great amount of feedback that you guys wanted me to be out and like wandering around in the jungle, that's what you missed from like the first days of the Arcane Bear. So we will be doing more of that. Again, I appreciate your guys' input and sentiments. I know we get like, I get excited and I'm learning and I'm building and I'm growing the education part. I'm 6 chapters into writing a book about non-advice for crypto traders for all of our private Bear Den members. So that way, every time someone signs up now, every month they get a new chapter from this education. So the point of, I've been spending a lot of time building. So I've been spending a lot of time inside, which is why the channel hasn't gone outside as much. But I definitely hear your guys' want and desire for me to be outside. Do you have any chickens? I used to have chickens until the jaguars ate them. Like, ate them through the fence, too. Like, I had a fenced area, and I came back down, and this month was picking my chickens off, like, one every few days. And he was able to sneak up on them, and when they got close to the fence, he, like, put his jaw into the fence, pulled the chicken, and ripped the chicken through the fence piece by piece. Like, I came down to blood and feathers all wrapped around this fence because this guy just ripped the fucking chicken through the fence. He didn't even give a shit about the fence. So no, I no longer have chickens. And I don't plan on getting any because they just make me a target for jaguars. Green plants or green candles, what's better? No, well, I can tell you one thing. Ayahuasca does not give a fuck what the markets are doing. This baby is just going to keep on fucking giving and growing. So plants are a great long-term investment. Arcane Jungle is more catchy. It's hilarious. Are there earthships in CR? Yes, but not the same type that you're used to seeing in the deserts of America because it is so fucking wet here. Need more beatboxing? We can go off today's show with maybe a little bit of music again. I think that's a nice way to go. Most people say it's going down to 987. Yeah, that was our targets as well, 987.7 for this downward fourth wave. Again, if you're part of the Private Bear Den members, you'll know that we've made a few charts from there as well. Old school nostalgia, very important. Are you concerned about your safety? No, we live on a look. I think too many people have gotten comfortable when they're entirely too cocky. We live on a ball of ice and rock, flying through fucking infinite unknown space. And you're asking if I'm scared of the jungle? No, my fears do not come from the jungle. I'm not scared of dying. Maybe the pain of dying, like if I got bit by a Terciopella snake and all the pain that would swell up in my face and not being able to breathe. That pain I'm maybe scared of, but actually dying, no. So I'm not concerned about my safety in the jungle. Although I am prepared for anything that might be coming my way in the jungle as well. So we'll sit there. Safer in the jungle than some cities. Yeah, and then Fa makes a great point there. It's a hell of a lot safer to be out in the middle of nowhere than it is to be in the middle of a city. That's for damn sure. That is 100% true. It's much safer to be in the middle of nowhere. What evidence for the globe do you have, Arcane Bear? I would go with ayahuasca has shared with me many visions of what outer space looks like. And yeah, this is this is a globe. Well, more of like an egg-shaped planet, but yeah, it's a globe. It's not a flat. You guys can believe whatever you want. I'm going to go with what the plants tell me. The plants have been here a fuckload longer, and they probably came from somewhere else too. I'm going to trust the plants. Do you get lonely? No, I actually have a fantastic community of people here. For any of the videos you've seen where we've been posting with Annie playing music, she comes over and helps me with a bunch of stuff. So I'm actually very, very well taken care of, although it does get quite slow here. So at this time of year, I leave anyways, because it's just so slow. The internet sucks, and if internet breaks up, then there's no easy way for me to stay in contact, and then I start to get a little bored, not lonely. I mean, it's bored. I get bored sometimes, but not lonely. What is your long-term price outlook for Bitcoin, and what will trigger the move higher? My long-term outlook for Bitcoin has always been into the millions of dollars for quite some time, probably since I bought it. Although I didn't necessarily believe myself when I first started trying to tell myself that. I tell myself all sorts of crazy shit that I don't believe more until it actually comes true. And we've been quite often right, more right than I want to be. I definitely don't want to be right about some of this bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you that much. It's not like an exciting thing to be like, oh yeah, we were right about that. That's awesome. DMT gives us geometry, not globes. Yes, geometry does make spheres. Have you ever seen an orange? Or how about an apple? Or any of the other circle fruits that exist on the planet, which is like 95% of the fruits end up being circle. So yeah, geometry definitely gives us spheres. That's arrogant to say it doesn't. What is your long term? Oh, here we go. We inside horizontal water, Fibonacci, da 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 da. Beautiful. Around an hour of ask me anything questions. I had a great time with you guys today. I'm gonna definitely make sure I do this more often. It's I can see you guys get a lot of value from it, and we're gonna produce more rants that bring us into this area as well. I'm definitely not going to argue for or against flat or round Earth. It doesn't make any sense. I know what I believe, and that's all that's important to me. I don't really care what everyone else believes. That's up to you. I hope that we actually enjoy more life like that, where we allow people to all believe all sorts of crazy dumb shit. Because if we have to start to put rules and regulations on what people believe, then we're fucked. Again, the other important point there is I think that what we're experiencing is the downfall of civilization through rule and regulation. So I don't think it's smart to limit thought. Do you just use technical analysis, or do you use any other systems to come out to your decisions on Bitcoin movement? No, it's just technical analysis. I just use volume and technical analysis. Although fundamentals are what drive my long-term belief. The fundamental belief in Bitcoin is what drives my belief that it will go to millions of dollars potentially, not technicals. Are you vegan or you eat jaguar meat? I learned very clear early on in my travels that there is no way I could ever be vegan, because multiple times when I've been traveling, I end up in some indigenous culture and they invite me over for a chicken soup with their family. And you better be fucking super excited when a family offers you chicken soup that has nothing. And you bathe and bask in the glory that there's a family that's willing to share their life with you. If I were to be like, no, I'm vegan, I don't eat that. You know how fucking rude that would be? No, I eat whatever people give me when I'm out traveling. That's the smartest way to be. Otherwise, you're just an arrogant cunt. I think Jesus said it best. He's like, whoa, whoa. He's like, you shouldn't be worried. What was Jesus's direct quote for this? He's like, look, he's like, go amongst the people. He's like, and feed the poor and help heal the sick, because it's not what goes into your mouth that will defile you. It's what comes out of it. And often what comes out of vegans' mouths defiles them more than what goes into it. I'll say that much. Do you experience many chemtrails there? No, I do not, luckily. We are literally in the middle of nowhere. I can't smash on that one too much. Can Americans own guns for protection? Yes, you can own guns down here. You just need your residency card. Do you think blockchain tech could actually be advanced sentient AI? No, we have nothing even close to sentient AI. That is a hogwash dream. These are intelligent systems that we've built. They in no way operate outside of what we've created. So no, it is not. It's not a sentient AI. At least in my belief. Hey, I could be wrong. But from everything I've seen from all the programmers and developers I've spoken with, we are not even a fucking a tenth of a step away to like artificial intelligence, which is problem solving outside of the systems that we write from it. Why do you swear so much? Because I don't give a shit what other people think. Yeah, I don't care what other people think. And it also helps me release the tension when I'm talking about things that are kind of stressful to some degree. How many times do you eat animal products, and how many times were you proposed a chicken soup by family in the wilderness? All the time. All the families here eat meat, whether it's stuff that they've caught. Like one of my best friends and their family, they own a ceviche stand here, and they're always catching their own fish and making their own ceviche. To say no to that kind of stuff is just dumb and arrogant. I have no preference at that point. I just love being a part of the community and sharing. Are you a permanent resident? No, I'm a permanent resident of Costa Rica, yes, but I don't have my citizenship or anything like this. Did you watch the Neuralink promo by Elon's brain chip implant? No, I haven't seen that yet. Since you're a fascinating guy, super smart, much respect. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm also an asshole sometimes. So that's what balances it out, I guess. I swear often. Not what goes into your mouth, but what comes out of it that will defile you. Good point. Yeah, I like that one as well. I thought it was a great one to pay attention to. Have you helped the locals get into crypto? Yes, but mostly just understanding it and understanding business. I think what I've seen is the most effective form of the channel in the local community. Like yesterday, we went to we did a beach cleanup with one of the local guys, a kid who's like 22-year-old. He started his own company selling spicy. Like a spicy sauce, and he helps do beach cleanups. So through what I do, the work that we do with the Arcane Bear, we've seen the inspiration of other people to start their own business and to do impact marketing. So yeah, we've seen a huge influx, but not necessarily just crypto. More so into understanding wealth or value at large, I think was what we've seen the most effective point to come from. Do you own any DigiByte? Yes, I do. I have, it's all my very small portfolio. I have a very small part of my portfolio dedicated to what I call the baby Bitcoins. But wait till Bitcoin hits 25 grand, the bear won't stop talking. It's more around 40 to 50 that I'm interested in, because that's where I think we're going to see our first big turnaround. I started to grow an edible food forest in the Brazilians. This is what Foo 3000 says. Pretty much how you live. Got eye growing too. Whenever you're in Brazil, you're more than welcome to come. Oh, I would love to come visit Brazil. If I ever drop down there, I'll make sure I make a video telling everyone. Have you ever read the book of John? No, I haven't, but I have read the book and the Gospel of Thomas, one of my favorites. Help when alt season, when Bitcoin makes a big turnaround, maybe somewhere around $50,000. That's my guess. Nice. Thank you for your perspective. Okay, guys, I've had a great time chatting with you. I will do the Ask Me Anythings more often. Again, obviously, when I'm not at the computer, I can't really chart any of the other tokens that you guys are interested in, but I've been really excited to answer all the random questions about where we live, how we got here, what kind of plants we grow. It's really, really beautiful for me. I'm actually going to see, I know you guys had mentioned you wanted to hear some beatboxing or some music. The beatboxing is fun. For any of you that don't play music in your life, it's a really, really great way to help increase your brain neuroplasticity. You're connecting often your left and right brain channels through the very technical aspects and the very emotional aspects of music. It's been one of my favorite things to learn how to do, and I'll do it for the rest of my life. And there's very few things I think people can invest their time into that they can do for their entire life. So I definitely think it's an important route to go down. Here you can see I've been collecting instruments. We've got we've got an oud, a drum kit. Oh, actually, have you guys ever seen me play the drum kit? Really? You ask about beatboxing, but what about drumming? Drumming's going to be too loud. If I play the drum kit, it's going to be way too loud for the stream. Anyways, this is where we're going to end off. I'll leave you guys with maybe a little bit of a guitar. I'll play you one of the new songs we've been working on, because I think it's fucking hilarious. I think this song is fucking hilarious. So for all of you that are going to end off today's stream with us, this is one of the songs I wrote a few years ago, and then we'll just leave it with that. So, she's got a nice box, a nice Rio, yes, and a very nice chest. This one's got these pirates like best. She's got a nice box, a nice booty, oh yes, and a very nice chest. This one's got with these pirates like best, yes. I've got the treasure map, it tells me right where to go. Over the mountains, you reach a plateau as it dips down to the sacred treasure cove, with a little poking around how she blows. And then the girl, Annie, would come in, she'd be like, I've got a nice box, a nice booty, oh yes, and a very nice chest. As I walk through the galleys, I can hear all your pirates panting underneath your breath. Something like this. Anyways, we're still writing the song. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's been a beautiful Sunday. Ask Me Anything. I really appreciate all your support. Give us those thumbs up one last time. If you want to, join the Private Bear Den, because that saves me a lot of conversation. I go through a great deal of effort to write what I consider Socratic theses and put a massive amount of time and energy into doing them. So please read them. At least if you've joined, please read them. I know a bunch of you have paid and you don't even care what we produce. I know there's at least 100 people who have signed up. They paid for the entire year and they don't check any of the shit we send them. They don't even care. They just wanted to give us more money to keep doing the Arcane Bear. So I'm very grateful for all those people, but please read the thesis. I put so much energy into it. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the side. Thank you for joining us today. It's been one hell of a time chatting and sharing with you guys. I really, really appreciate it. We'll see you on the other side, and we'll be live tomorrow again, or at least not if live, we'll be there with pre-recorded video.